After Talk Radio, you're in to all things music.
There's so many variables that we're not in control of. Sometimes they already know, like you said, that, this is a person that I either want to hire or I want to see more of them.
Right.
Or they'll know that that's just not, because we can't change, who we are.
How tall you are.
Height,
right.
age. Yeah. Really, the only thing that we're in control in is our work, which is what I always say. Just be, really know the work, know the piece that you're going in to audition for, the character, whatever. Because when you walk out of that room, that's all you're left with. Because, I went through that phase of leaving the room and going, I wish I had done that, or I wish I had done, what if I had done this? Just, do the work.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things.
Welcome to the show, and thanks for tuning in. I want to say a quick thank you to my guest on last week's episode, guitarist Kat Dyson. If you didn't get to hear it, you can listen to all of our episodes at entertalkradio.com/makingit, or download our app and take us with you. Also, be sure to tune in to hear my upcoming conversations with Broadway's newest star of Hamilton, Donald Weber Jr., singer-trombonist Aubrey Logan, bassist recording artist Nathan East, and Italian saxophonist Johnny Vancini. Those are just a few of the guests that are going to be coming up. I'd like to take a moment to also thank the companies that help me sound my best, whether I'm performing live or in the studio recording and producing music. Blue Microphones, Taylor Guitars, Seymour Duncan Pickups, Mesa Boogie Amps, D'Addario Strings and Planet Waves, Motu Digital Performer, IK Multimedia, and Exotic Effects. Whew, that's a lot of people. But, they're all great people, and I love working with them. Let's talk about the show. So often I get asked questions about the creative process, so I created this show to focus on what it takes to have a lasting career in the ever-changing landscape of the music business. You're really in for a treat, as I've invited my friends, some of the best and brightest in music, to share their stories on how they have influenced the music that has shaped our lives. I guarantee you're going to love it. So let's get started. My guest today is actress-singer Yvette Cason. Yvette Cason is an American television, theater, and film actress, singer, and former Miss Black America from Washington, D.C. She starred in Dreamgirls on Broadway, and in 2006 played May, the mother of Deena Jones, portrayed by Beyoncé Knowles in the feature film version of Dreamgirls. Cason returned to Broadway in Play On, for which she won an Ovation Award for Supporting Actress. Most recently, she performed to rave reviews in the musical Shout, Sister, Shout, the Rosetta Tharpe Story at the Pasadena Playhouse. Her early musical training was at the Sewell Music Conservatory in Washington, followed by her studies at the prestigious Berklee College of Music in Boston, where we happened to have met the first time a few years ago. Yvette has toured and sang with some of the industry's most elite artists, such as Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder, David Foster, Najee, and Kenny Babyface Edmonds. This past year, Yvette has had the pleasure of recording her Christmas EP, The Spirit of Christmas, produced by Sylvia McCalla. She is currently working on bringing the music and life story of the iconic Ella Fitzgerald back to the stage in 2018. Yvette just learned that she is a nominee for a 2017 Los Angeles Ovation Award as featured actress in the musical in Shout, Sister, Shout. She's also a nominee for the 2017 NAACP Theater Award for the play Barbecue, presented at the Geffen Theater. Please welcome my guest today, Yvette Cason. Welcome to the show, Yvette.
Well, hello, Terry. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And you?
Good. I'm great. I'm enjoying this sort of hot weather, this summer, fall weather, I should say. I'm enjoying.
I am too. Having grown up in Miami, it always makes me happy when the sun's out, but it is always still kind of odd to me that, in November and December, it might be in the 80s or 90s.
I know, but I'm from the East Coast, so I kind of miss the fall weather, just the changing of the season, just the leaves and everything and the cool weather. So although I've been here in Los Angeles for quite some time, 20-something years, I still miss that part. So it's it's always interesting when it's hot around this time of year. But I'm not complaining because I'd rather have this than the cold weather. Right.
I understand. Hey, so first of all, congratulations on your nominations for both the Los Angeles Ovation Award and the NAACP. It's fantastic, and I was really excited to hear about that.
Well, thank you. There are two shows that I thoroughly enjoyed. Barbecue being a really fun show, and I had the opportunity to work with some really amazing actors and actresses, being directed by Coleman Domingo and working with Miss Frances Fisher and a lot of other personalities that are now on TV. So I just had a ball. And also working at the Geffen. That was my first time working at the Geffen. They're wonderful. And then having to go and work again at the Pasadena Playhouse, which at that time was my 8th production there. So I'm
right. That's kind of your home away from home. Yeah, I was going to say.
It is. I'm actually I can tell you because I accepted yesterday, I'm actually going to be doing another show there starting the 14th of December. It's a radio show, A Miracle on 34th Street. Do you remember? Well, we were both too young to remember this, but we know about the radio shows. You know about the radio shows they used to do?
Absolutely.
And they're doing A Miracle on 34th Street with Alfred Marino. So I'll be doing that. So this will be my 9th production.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm excited. That should be fun and different. And I love Pasadena Playhouse.
As do I. It's kind of a second home for me because I've worked on quite a few productions there as well, sort of behind the scenes. So it's a great community of artists.
It really is. It really is, and it's very prestigious and has so much history to it. So I'm very blessed and lucky, and just to have had the opportunity to work there numerous times with just an amazing group of people. So I'm thankful for that.
And by the way, it was a treat for me to get to work on a play with you. A little bit more hands-on with the Shout Sister Shout.
That was very surprising. Yes, when I saw you come in, I was like, Terry. Yeah, and so funny because you and I, we go way back.
We do. We went to college
Berklee
together.
Days. Yeah. And I mean, what are the chances of coming out here, not only working together, but actually being in the same state, because we all have musician friends who are all over the country, and that I've made from going to Berklee, and not just being friends with you, but also your beautiful girlfriend, Melanie, who I've worked with also. So it's a double treat, but that was great.
And by the way, for our listeners, I was fortunate enough to see you in both of the plays that you got nominated for, and they were uniquely different, and you shined in both roles that you played in very different ways. Yeah. Thank you. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, they were. I mean, and being a family member, in both of them, I was a sister, and one I played the mother, and Barbecue was different. It spoke to a lot of, race, perception of race.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Great conversation was had after it, and provoked a lot of conversation, which I think is great to have, especially during this time. So, it was quite different. And then with Rosetta, it was different for me because I have to be honest, unfortunately, and I think this was a lot of people, I wasn't familiar with Rosetta Tharpe.
Right.
Actually, Rand Johnson, who wrote and directed the play, he brought it to my attention during the time I was doing Janice, the musical. They're at Pasadena Playhouse, and he was reading the book, and I didn't even know who this woman was, and I couldn't believe I hadn't. And because at Berklee, we were surrounded by lots of history of music. So somehow this wonderful musician, this woman,
Slipped through the cracks.
buried.
Yeah.
And so I was grateful to be a part of this story and to play her mom. I think like Jennifer Lewis is the black mother of Hollywood. I think I'm becoming the black mother of theater because I've played played Ray Charles' mother at
That's right.
Ray Charles the musical, and then I played this mom, and I also played Lena Horne's mother in Stormy Weather at Pasadena Playhouse. And I take that title with gratitude, and I'm humbled. So I'm joking, but I'm actually humbled.
But you also, it's appropriate that you would get calls for that because you are a mother in real life. You've raised a wonderful son and have a beautiful family, and so you bring a truth to those roles.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, and I mean to play these women. These aren't just fictional women either. These are women who were real life people. So, when you are asked to do that, you really have to not only do your homework, but try to bring as much truth. There was not much about Katie Bell, Rosetta's mom.
Right.
And I don't remember right offhand with Lena's mom. There was more, but and Ray Charles' mom, there was a lot more known. So you really are responsible for bringing the truth to these women and their strength. And all of them were very strong women, which I'm very happy that I've also had the opportunity to portray as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do take that. I don't take it lightly. And yes, I am a mom of a 17-year-old, so I do have some experience.
Yeah, I would say so. So let's talk about your childhood for a moment before we get into your Christmas record and some of the other wonderful, fun things that you're doing. What was your childhood like?
Oh, my childhood was great. I have a sister, a brother, my mom, and my dad. I grew up in Washington, D.C. We moved to the suburbs, an area called Silver Spring, Maryland. Mm-hmm. And I was always, for me, music was just something I always knew I wanted to do since the age of 5. And fortunately, my mother saw it, and she said, okay, we're going to cultivate this. So she put me in piano lessons. And then I started at Sewell Music Conservatory. And it was a very prestigious and wonderful place to learn what I've learned. I had an amazing voice teacher, Mr. Isaiah Laurie. He's no longer with us. And he really did me and gave me the foundation of what I use to this day. And Mrs. Sewell, it was her conservatory, she was my piano teacher. I learned so much about musical theory and playing. People don't know, I actually studied classical piano. I was a classical pianist, but I leaned more towards vocal singing. So at some point, I just used, piano to play and learn songs, but really my heart has always been in singing and performing. So that's what I did. I mean, I was in talent shows, and then when I decided to go off to Berklee, to study and further my education in music, which was, as you know, that's a lesson in itself. I mean, you're surrounded by musicians all over the world. Mm-hmm. And the opportunities to play outside of Berklee. I mean, I was performing with my teachers, some gigs, which was nice, and I'm sure you did the same.
Yeah.
And then I had the opportunity to go to Europe with the Dutch flautist Chris Henze, with Tommy Campbell, Kevin Eubanks, the guitarist Kevin Eubanks, who used to be the musical director on The Tonight Show.
And drummer Tommy
Leno
Campbell.
Show. And Tommy Campbell. So I was always surrounded by the best, and I learned so much. And it's just, it's been what I've done, but what I've learned and what I did learn, that you need to do more than just that one thing. And although I had a plan, which was to be a recording artist, it was funny how it shifted when I came out to L.A. I ended up doing TV, and then I kept getting called back to New York to do plays. So I've been able to sustain and do a lot of different things that I really didn't set out to do.
Are you surprised that your career as an actor has blossomed to that degree, and when you were younger, you thought you were going to be a recording artist and a singer. I mean, of course, you've always studied acting, but were you surprised? I guess that's my question, because I know
I have to be.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, in my experience, when I came out here, other opportunities opened up for me that were not things that were really what I thought I was going to be exactly doing, as well, just like you.
Right.
But I was open to it. And, they always circled around to be inclusive of all the skills that I had developed.
Right. Well, I have to be honest. Yes, I was surprised, because I was in one lane, and I was just focused on that particular, it was a recording contract, which I did have. I did have a recording contract with RCA. But all of these, one particular thing would end up taking me to something else, like how I got into doing background vocals was through my friend Marva Hicks. I probably was here maybe 2 years, and she could not do the gig. She referred me to Stevie's people, and that's how I ended up working with him, which then I ended up getting more gigs. You know how that is, one referral, and then if you do the job you're hired for, then people will want to hire, and I started doing session work. So all these different things, and then I was doing also, I don't know if you were out here during the time when R&B Live was very popular?
Yes.
When a lot of musicians would get together?
Yes.
Were you out here then?
Yeah, okay, I moved here in 81. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you were actually here before me then, because I didn't move here until 89. So R&B Live was popular, and a lot of musicians would come, we jam, and of course that was a great place to be seen and heard. So through that, I also got gigs. I met Ricky Minor, who really big, with Whitney, which is how I ended up getting that gig. So I was surprised, and I did not study acting until I came to L.A., to be honest. I did not.
No kidding. Oh, I thought that was part of your wheelhouse before you moved here.
No, my wheelhouse had just been completely music. Even when I went to audition for Dreamgirls, and Dreamgirls, that audition came through my being Miss D.C. Black America in 81.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was going to ask you if that experience opened doors for you, being a former Miss Black America.
It did. It just, the timing that when I was crowned Miss D.C. Black America, Dreamgirls was actually at the National Theater, and they were, as they did in a lot of big cities, they'd hold auditions. So I was able to get in on an audition with Michael Bennett and Michael Peters.
We need to hold the rest of that story, Yvette. We're heading into our first break.
Okay.
When we come back, I'm going to have you finish your Dreamgirls audition story, and then we're going to talk about your new Christmas record. We're here with Yvette Cason, and stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
Serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
This is John Carruthers, and you're listening to Making It with Terry Woolman.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
It's been said many times, many ways. Merry Christmas to you. They know that Santa.
Welcome back. I'm here with Yvette Cason, and you're listening to a song, a duet, from her new Christmas EP, The Spirit of Christmas. And welcome back, Yvette. Yeah.
And that duet was with you.
That's right.
Terry Woolman, yes. That is with you.
That was a real full circle for me.
It really was.
To be in the studio
really
with you
was.
after, having been college mates and friends for so many years and losing touch and reconnecting. And I think it really came through in our recording and our playing, our friendship. And
it did. And it was you made it very easy, but I think I told you, at least I know I told you that you were our first choice, Sylvia and I. I was like, let's ask Terry, because I'd always wanted to do a duet, at least as on a CD, with a guitar. I just love the guitar, and
right.
I just think it's so beautiful. And I knew I wanted to do that song, and I knew that I wanted to use guitar, and I knew I wanted to use you. So I got everything that I wanted, and thank you. It was beautiful. Really beautiful.
I really appreciate it. It was such an honor and a treat. And since we're talking about this, before we get back to the cliffhanger of how you got Dreamgirls, right?
Dreamgirls audition.
Yeah. Let's just stay on this topic for a moment, and then we'll get back to finishing that story. So,
okay.
So tell everybody about The Spirit of Christmas. Sylvia McCalla produced it. It's an EP.
Yeah,
it's a Christmas EP.
Yes.
It's up on iTunes.
It is on iTunes. So please rush and run. Make it one of your Black Friday, buys. We would appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
This whole EP came about. You know Sylvia, like I know
Yes.
Sylvia. I met this wonderful human when we did Ray Charles, which was years ago, and we stayed in touch and became very good friends. And then we reunited on stage again in Janus.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I love about Sylvia, as you know, she's probably one of the most talented people I know. She does everything. Like she's
Right.
a singer and a writer and a photographer and just creative. And what she does, like if you say to her, "Wow, I was thinking about maybe doing an EP," it's done. In her mind, she's already moved to the next part of it. And that's
Right.
really what happened. I just called her and said I'm thinking about writing. I want to do this song, record an original Christmas song, and maybe do 3 songs. She goes, "Oh, an EP." And I said, "Yes." And I said, "We'll talk about it later." Well, the next week, she had already booked the the studio. She
Right.
said, let's talk about songs. So she was already moving. And so cut to, This Is How the Spirit of Christmas Came, which is written by her, did that song. She's an amazing songwriter.
Yes,
so
she is.
this is what you have. And she just gets 110%. She's the real deal, and I love her. Genuinely love her. She's like a sister to me, and she was the big reason this whole project came to be. So even from the photography,
Right.
she does it all. So that's the spirit of Christmas, and I would really, I'd love for people to go out and get it. I think it's a nice addition to have in your home during the holidays. Right
So
now, it's just 3 songs, but next year I'm going to do a whole CD, so you'll have the whole Christmas CD.
Fantastic. So can they actually purchase the CD right now on CD Baby or at your website, or is it iTunes only for now?
It's just iTunes.
Okay.
For now. Just iTunes for now. Yep.
Well, everybody treat themselves, because that's a big $3 investment for 3 really beautifully recorded and produced songs.
That's a great yes. For a Black Friday or any day investment, just $3. Yes, exactly.
So we can look forward to hearing another Yvette Cason album next year? Is that what you're saying?
Can.
Good.
That's what I'm saying.
Fantastic.
All things moving, every time I have a plan, there's something else, but something good, nothing bad. But
right.
Yes, that is my plan, and we'll see what the universe has in store for 2018.
Well, I really look forward to hearing your next record as well, and the entire record. It's your time.
Talking to you because I'll be talking to you again about that.
Perfect. I'm in. Absolutely.
Yep.
So let's go back to my question that I was going to ask you that you actually started to answer. What was the best part of your experience as a former Miss Black America? Did that experience open doors for you? And you were saying it put you to the front of the line of getting an audition for Dreamgirls, for the original.
Yeah, it did. We do things in our life that we don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen, like what the domino effect will be with that one particular thing. Honestly, I entered the pageant because I'm not a pageant girl. I didn't grow up being groomed for that. I just had a friend, and we just said, and we should enter. I mean, like, it was just as simple as that. We should enter the pageant, and cut to, I won, and what came out of it was I was able to get an actual appointment, because they were holding open calls for Dreamgirls. And as anyone knows, open calls, that's a lot of people, and you just have to wait until your turn. But it did. I got an appointment. Michael Bennett and Michael Peters had me come back, and I auditioned for this show 4 times. So it also speaks to, I tell people, you have to have perseverance in this business, because you may not get it the first time.
Right.
But once I auditioned, I really wanted it. And it was really my voice instructor, Isaiah Lurie, who pushed me to even do this audition. He said, you should do it. And I remember watching Jennifer Holliday sing I Am Telling You on TV. I think Entertainment Tonight had recorded the opening night, and they had this little part of her singing, and I was just blown away. And I did say to myself, wow, I would love to do that show, not knowing that I would be doing it and or even auditioning for it. So that led to that. I went to New York. I did the international tour, because they had done the national tour. Now they were doing Japan and Paris, and also going back to some states. We came back to California, and it went back to Broadway, which was how I ended up getting my first Broadway credit. Right. So as you can see, I'm still trying to get to that recording contract, but theater came about, and then I moved to LA. I did get my recording contract, but I went back. I ended up doing a workshop, a play on directed by Sheldon Epps, who at the time, up until just recently, was the artistic director
of the Pasadena Playhouse.
Yeah. So that went to Broadway. So that was my second time, and then I ended up going a couple more times, back to New York. So I was acting, and then I said, you know what? I'm doing this. I should just take lessons to really hone in on my craft, which I did. And that started to open up my TV, getting TV jobs.
And
So
what kind of lessons were you taking? Were you taking, was it a broad stroke of a combination of learning how to read sides and commercial auditions and acting improv and?
It was all of that. You were exactly right. Yep, it was the basic. Let's learn how to, read a side, cold reading, improving, all of that. Because I really didn't know it. I just didn't know. And I said, if I'm going to be doing this, with theater, even, musical theater, you need to know how to act. I mean, people think, oh, you're just singing and then you're saying a couple, bits of dialogue in between, but you're portraying a character. And I think so for me, I needed to do the work. I needed to delve into the work deeper, and I did, and I'm glad I did.
So how would you, as an actor, Yvette, how would you define to me the act or the process of acting? What is acting to you?
Well, to me, because I know to different people, I mean, it's different to different people.
I'm thinking your creative process and point of view.
Yeah, my creative process is, first of all, reading the material, understanding who this character is, and sometimes we don't have background for these characters, so we have to create them. So I do that. I just want to know enough about who I am as this character so that I can go in and be grounded, so that when I do the work, it comes naturally. I think that's something that's universal with all actors. Now, there are other processes that people go through. I would not say I'm much of a method actor. I like to be in the moment, and hopefully, and to have a director who he gives, and he also will take some will, some won't. I've worked with both. So my process is just to come, ready. I'm ready to work and have all the as much information as I can to do the work, and that's it for me. And constantly learn. I love the reason I love theater so much. I love both. I love theater because you are constantly doing the work every day. I know people think, wow, how do you say these words the same words every day, like you're doing the same blocking? Well, this is true, but no two moments are the same. So some nights what I say will be different because whoever is delivering it to me will say something. It may fall on my ears differently or on my heart, and then it will invoke me to say something different. Do you know what I mean? The meaning might be just a little. So it's not always the same, and you are working, which is why we always say, oh my gosh, we're going to have, by the last week we'll have this, because you're just always finding these new and wonderful things during the process, because the process isn't over once you open. You're actually still going through the process, and that's the beauty of theater versus television and film. You don't have that opportunity. You don't rehearse.
And what it sounds like you're saying is that your process or your intention is to stay present.
Yeah.
When you're saying the same lines,
you're saying the same
every day and twice on Saturdays.
Day.
Yeah.
Exactly. I really like watching children work because as actors, because they play, which is what we're really just doing. We're just playing.
Right.
And that's what kids do when they're little. They don't think about, that whole, I've got to be, this. They don't get too deep in it. Just think about it when you're on the playground and says, okay, I'm going to play house. You're going to be mommy. I'm going to be daddy. And you just go right into it. And so that's the beauty of children. They don't overthink it. And
They don't
that's
judge
what
it.
I've been trying.
Yeah.
No, they just do it. And so I've been very, I've just tried to work that way as much as possible. It's not always easy, but that's kind of how I try to approach it. Try to be there and enjoy. And even in auditions, because auditioning is not, it's one of, most actors don't like to audition. And I've had to do that to enjoy and have fun with it so I don't get nervous or freak out. Is to just play and have fun with it.
I've had acting friends very generously explain to me that for auditions for TV commercials or TV shows or things like that I've gone out for over the years, that so much of the audition gets decided from the moment you walk to the door to the moment you hit your mark, and how before you even begin your lines or your improv or whatever it is, it's really your sense of confidence and connecting with, making eye contact with the the casting directors and the agents, and just they can feel who you are. They already have a good sense before it even begins. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with some of that, because I think also there's so many variables that we're not in control of. You know, sometimes,
sure,
especially with just in general. I mean, sometimes they already know, like you said, that this is a person that I either want to hire or I want to see more of them,
right.
Or they'll know that that's just not, because we can't change, you know, who we are,
how tall you are,
height,
right?
Age. Yeah, that
right.
We just don't have any control, and especially when I've gone out and called that you see all these different ethnicities, I immediately know, they don't know which way they're going. So,
right.
Okay, now the role is kind of open. You know, I go in, but really the only thing that we're in control in is our work, which is what I always say. Just be, you know, really know the work, know the piece that you're going in to audition for, the character, whatever. Because when you walk out of that room, that's all you're left with. Like, I can't, you know, freak out about
right.
anything else. I'm not in control of anything but the work, is what I'm saying. So it's sometimes it's good to work, sometimes it doesn't. You know, you just don't know. And especially with commercials, sometimes they're just looking for, you know, a certain face or character.
Right.
You know, a lot of times it's character with commercials.
Sure.
But, yeah, because, you know, I went through that phase of leaving the room and going, I wish I had done that, or I wish I had done, what if I had done this? Just, you know, do the work. You don't know. You can't, you just can't control all the other things that are going to be happening after you leave.
Well said. You had the unique experience of just finishing up on Dreamgirls, of being both in the Broadway production and the feature film version. That's pretty wonderful and amazing. Was that a full circle for you to be able to?
It absolutely was. It really, really was. I remember, you know, just going around when I was part of the musical of them doing a movie. And of course, I didn't even think about, oddly enough, I didn't think about being a part of that. I just knew that was something that Michael Bennett and Michael Peters and Bob Avion and the powers that be had wanted to happen. Unfortunately, it didn't happen during the time that they were here with us. But fortunately, Bill Condon, who directed Dreamgirls, the movie, he had actually been in the theater, I think, opening night of the musical, or had seen it several times. So the fact that I auditioned with this person who loved Dreamgirls, and then I was hired to be in it, it was a 360. It was just a full circle moment. And I remember actually walking on set, because, in film, you're not filmed sequentially. They film out of sequence. So my first day of shooting was the last scene of the movie, and they were doing Hard to Say Goodbye, and it was so emotional. I actually started to cry, so I had to go back to the makeup chair and get touched up. But I was really full, because who would have thought, you know, just my whole journey with Dreamgirls and to this point, I was just honored and humbled, and I just kept thinking, wow, I'm really a part of it.
On that note, we're going to be right back. We've got one more commercial break, so please stick around with Yvette Cason and I talking about life, music, art. We'll see you in a minute. Stick around.
Composer Adam Berry, and you're listening to Making It with Terry Wolf.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. Pitbullaudio.com.
Hallo alle zusammen, hier ist Chris Walden. Ich bin ein Komponist und Arrangeur und ihr hört heute Making It with Terry Wellman.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
Welcome back, and you're listening to the singing of Yvette Cason. And Yvette, I have a question for you that's personal. As a mother and wife, how have you been able to balance your personal family life with your professional life as a performer? Because you've done a remarkable job. You've made a beautiful family, and you have stayed strong on your journey as an artist and open-hearted, as you said, to, thinking you were going to be a recording artist and being wise enough and present enough to see that there were other gifts that you had that were worth developing and have served you really well. But the question gets back to the balance. How do you find balance? How have you created that?
I'm not going to say it's easy. I think it's always been what is the priority? And for me, family has always been priority. I have to say it is a blessing, and a big part of it is because my husband, who is one, he's not in the business, and that works for me. But also because he's always been very supportive of what I've done and what I continue to do. My son, once I had him, it did shift a little bit in my priorities, because I always tell people you can't miss something you've never had. But once I held him in my arms, that's always been the forefront of my thinking of what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, and how it's going to affect him. So I've had to make some changes and some sacrifices, and none of which I regret, because I wanted to be there's no do-overs with children, so I didn't want to miss certain things, whether it was his first time talking, walking, whatever that is. And I knew that would require me to be here. I was fortunate enough to work, while during this whole time of his life, but I've made choices. I did, how far I wanted to go and, what I wanted to do. Right now, this is his last year in high school, and I've been working quite a bit, and very blessed to do that. But I've also wanted to sort of stay in the area because, his senior year, and he plays basketball and the prom, all these wonderful things that I would not be able to experience. I just feel like I need to be here. Now, with that being said, you always have to let people know, oh, hey, I'm still working. I'm still here.
Right.
Because it's out of sight, out of mind. if people don't see you, they don't think that you're doing it anymore. Which, that makes they just think, oh, I thought you were just being mommy and wife. Mm-hmm. No, I am being those things, but I also I'm singing and I'm acting, and because I have to feed my soul as well. And that's really been the balance, is all making sure that I'm being fed artistically and with my passion, as well as doing the other, which is mom and wife. So I appreciate what you said. It's like I said, it's not easy, but I see. I've been married for 29 years, which is a big deal these days.
Yeah,
considering, and it's work, and being a parent is work.
Yeah,
and being an artist is work, because when I'm working, I have to give 110% to that as well. So it is. It's always shifting hats. It's the juggling act of life that we do. And fortunately, like I said, I have a wonderful husband who definitely is there to help me see my dreams, because I still have dreams and things that I hope to accomplish before I leave this earth. So
and
that I can do this.
What are a few of those dreams?
Well, I definitely want to. I want to go back to Broadway, and I would love to hopefully go back as Ella Fitzgerald. I know I want to put that up. I want to record again my Christmas CD and a CD of music, of original music, and actually some of the music of artists that I just love. I just admire and love. Mm-hmm. So that's one of them. And I've been writing quite a bit, writing a script. So there's several things that I hope to accomplish.
Well, I see those as happening, because you are focused and willing to do the work and have a clarity as to what it takes to make that happen.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, and the industry, it's a youth industry, but I don't focus on that. I think that, there's always a place for everything. You just have to find it, and I think we have to create our own vehicles too. When we're young, we tend to think, oh, we'll just wait on someone to hand us this or to do this or whatever. But you really do have to create your own, and I think it's good, because now you're a part of the creative process. You're not doing something of someone else's. Right. So I like that. I definitely like that part of it too.
I'm a big believer in creating your own path and destiny and opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And opportunity, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's very important. It's very important.
Let's talk about switching gears. A couple of the artists that you have toured with, and let me just name a couple of names and perhaps tell me a standout experience that you remember from meeting that person, something that they left you with that made you a better person, perhaps, or a better musician. Mm-hmm. Whitney Houston.
Wow. Well, first of all, that's another one of those I had to pinch myself, because I couldn't believe I was on stage with this amazing voice. I don't think there'll ever be another voice like hers. Mm-hmm. Not in my time, anyway. What I came away with her, besides her artistry and her voice, is that no matter what's happening, you still have to go on, and you got to do the show, because there were several or a few times when there were things going on in her life that may have rocked some people, but she went on and she sang through it and sang brilliantly. She did the show, and I am a big believer that, because, well, let me say this. When I'm working in the theater, I always say the theater is my happy place, so I don't allow anything to come into that space. Whatever is happening has to stay outside. It just does, because that is my spot, my place to thrive and to be happy. So when we are in those spaces, be it in concert or whatever, people don't come to be entertained, and they also come to be made happy. So I feel like whatever's happening in our life, even I know people have performed through death, which is, I can't even imagine, but it has to happen. We just have to push through, and that's what I came away with from her. I just saw strength. A lot of people don't know that, but she was extremely strong, as she was weak in other areas. But it was the strength, and just watching her and this her gift, because whatever we do is a gift. So I never take for granted the gift that I've been given with my voice and even my acting, but my voice. I just looked at her and I said, what a gift. So that's what I will remember with Whitney.
Yeah. Stevie Wonder.
Incredibly, I mean, I don't even know what to say about Stevie because, no, I mean, what I remember, I'll tell you this. We were doing his, he does it every year, the Christmas toy drive.
Yes.
What is, I forget that right now, I'm lost for words, but there's actual title they do. And he holds it every year. It was at the Forum this particular year. And we were rehearsing, just going over some notes. And he was literally in another room, and we were singing. And he said, somebody's flat. Like, you need to tune that. I mean, I don't know if anybody else would have been able to hear in another room.
Right.
So his hearing is, like, incredible.
Yes.
He's the nicest person.
Isn't
of course,
he?
we know how talented he is. No, you've worked with him. Have you worked
I
with him?
have. Yeah, I
so
had
you know.
the privilege of producing him with Melissa Manchester on Melissa's record. I do, and one of the things that was the greatest surprise for me was he was so nice, so generous, and so funny. You know, we really had a good time.
Yeah, he did. He made he's so should I say accessible. In terms, I mean, he's with his band. He doesn't, because there are artists who kind of stay to themselves. They're with the band when they need to be, and then when they're not, they don't have to be. But he just hung out with us in this room. We laughed. Like you said, he liked to joke. And it was one of those moments that I was like, I can't believe I'm actually sitting here talking to Stevie Wonder.
Right.
But he makes you comfortable, so you get past that. And it just made me nervous because I was always checking my pitch, making sure I was on. His ear he has an ear that is not from this planet. Like it's something else. So, but I was grateful and I learned a lot from him as well. I've been I have to tell you, Terry, I've been really blessed to work with some really, really top-notch musicians, including yourself. I mean, that has been such a blessing to me because I feel like we can always learn, and to be surrounded by this group of people, the Whitney, Babyface, who was also an amazing artist, and how he carried himself through the tour. Just these first, and then David Foster, who I've worked with a few times. Mm-hmm. That's, for me, I'm like, wow. And even Najee. And
I was just going to ask you about Najee. Did you play piano with him as well as sing?
I did. And that's something, a little nugget people don't know. I was playing keyboards, not only for him, but I was playing keyboards for Jody Watley, too.
Oh, that's great.
And, I know. I was scared to death, but my friend Derek Edmonds. Do you know Derek Edmondson?
Not well. I do know who he is, but not well. Yes.
Okay, well, he was the MD for Jody, and he said, I know you play piano. You should play the keys. And I was like, no. He's like, no, you're going to play some.
Don't tell nobody.
Keys. Yeah, just don't. I was like, okay. So, yeah, those have been some wonderful experiences. And I loved working with Najee. He's another wonderful person and
he is
talented
indeed.
Musician.
I so agree.
Yeah.
We've got about 4 minutes left, let me ask you my closing question that I ask everybody, and then with any time that's left, we can talk about whatever else you'd like to talk about. So my closing question is, at this point of your life, Yvette, with everything that you know to be true, what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell the younger Yvette, don't worry so much. Be your authentic self. Be your authentic self. You don't have to fit in someone else's, box. You don't have to overthink it. And you are as good as you think you are. I think that when we're younger, because there are some young people who are super confident, and I've always been confident, but because we are trying to find our way in this business that already has a template, they usually have a template that they want you to fit in. I see, especially now with so many other avenues, social media and all the ways that you can get your own product out. I think had that been available to me, I probably would be the recording artist that I wanted to be, because they really didn't know what to do with me when I was with RCA. It was, you have this wonderful voice, but it's more on the pop jazz side versus the R&B, which I do R&B, and trying to fit in that. So it was sort of a battle. So I would tell myself that to just, do your thing, be confident, be definitely sure of who you are, and not worry so much, and have fun at it, and have fun at it, and just have fun. So yeah, I would do that, and that's what I've done these last several years. I'm doing the younger Yvette. I am
right, yeah.
But that comes with time and wisdom, and because I say that, I said, wow, if I knew then what I knew now, I would be a bad girl.
That's right.
Rocket. But it's been through trial and error.
Well, I guess hence the saying, "Youth is wasted on the young."
Yep.
None of us knew, and some of it I'm glad. Some of it I wish that I knew. The things that you're talking about, I wish I knew that when I was younger. It would have gotten me a less bumpy road, and perhaps an easier journey to where I want to be in my life as an artist and as a person. But some of it I'm glad I didn't know. I'm glad that I didn't know that it takes less years to become a doctor or a nuclear physicist than a musician. The amount of studying and training. I'm glad I didn't fully understand that because it might have deterred me.
I agree with that too. Yeah, because I definitely think I'm a better musician now than I was, back in my 20s. I also, I'm glad I did have in my youth is the fearlessness. I think as we get older, we fear more. And you're young, you don't fear as much. So all of the things that I've done, the chances I've taken, I left Berklee for a semester and went to live in Europe to travel with the Dutch flautist. I don't know if I would do that now, given, all the things and responsibilities I have. Do you know what I mean? So
I do.
In some ways, that part I love, and that's why I tell young people, do this now, do it while you can, and you're free, and you're not thinking about it. Even my coming to LA, my husband and I, we did this 29 years ago. We didn't think about anything. Just let's move to LA. He said, you need to be there. I'm an architect. I can work anywhere. So it was that. So that I'm so glad of. But the others, I would certainly tell my younger self.
Speaking to that, in our last 20 seconds of this show, I just wanted to say to you, I'm not sure if I ever told you this, but when we first worked together and recorded together back in Boston when we were in college, you set the bar for me. You were the first amazing singer that showed me what it was like to really carve in a recording studio, and I remember doing that with you, and you set the bar, and I've kept the bar that high. I want to thank you for spending the hour with me, Yvette.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
And,
well, you know how to end an interview. You kind of bring the tears, the something. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. And thank you, everybody. Please check out Yvette Cason's album, and we'll see y'all next week.
Tune in again next week for another great episode of Making It with Terry Woolman.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.